Borough. Let's listen in.
Task Force, council members from Darby Borough, and Senator Anthony Williams. I'm here to announce the charges and arrest of Rasheem Russell, 29-year-old male from West Philadelphia. Late yesterday afternoon, the Delaware County District Attorney's Office approved an arrest warrant for Rasheem Russell for aggravated assault and related crimes in relation to the assault of a crossing guard on Monday, March 16th, 2026 at 3:50 p.m. in the afternoon. During the course of the investigation led by the Darby Borough Police Department, information was developed that Russell had fled the state of Pennsylvania and was currently staying in South Carolina. At that point, we reached out to the Marshals Task Force to assist in the apprehension of Mr. Russell. U.S. Marshals in Philadelphia coordinated efforts with the Marshals Task Force in South Carolina, and Russell was taken into custody at 11 a.m. this morning in South Carolina. The investigation was a combination of efforts from the Darby Borough Police Department, the Philadelphia Police Department, Darlington City Police Department, South Carolina, and the U.S. Marshals Task Force. We'd also like to add in there that the Delaware County District Attorney's Office was huge assistance in this matter too. So at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Deputy Robert Clark of the U.S. Marshal Service.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. My name is Robert Clark. I'm the Supervisory Deputy for the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force here in Philadelphia. Not the Chief Deputy, the Supervisory Deputy. And I just wanted to talk a little bit how we got the case. I'll be real brief and what happened exactly in South Carolina. So yesterday afternoon, upon the warrant being issued here by the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, like the Chief said, they had obtained information that Mr. Russell had already fled the state. It was in South Carolina, and the information was credible. So at that point, we started scouring what possible connections, what family members he may have, and we determined there was a very close family member to him in the city of Darlington, South Carolina. That's about 530 miles south of here, about 8.5 hours away. And that kind of corroborated the story that the Darby police had heard, that he had gotten on a bus immediately after the assault and traveled down south. Once we determined an address for Mr. Russell in Darlington, South Carolina, I was up on the phone last night talking to our counterparts at the Carolinas Regional Task Force out of Florence, and I asked them for immediate warrant service this morning because this was a cowardly act of violence that needed to be dealt with immediately. And the deputy marshals down there agreed. They went out there first thing this morning, conducted surveillance, and at 11 a.m. they hit the house that we believed Mr. Russell was in. He was taken into custody without incident and taken to the Florence County Jail. Mr. Russell, upon being arrested, tried to plead his story and wanted to talk about why this happened, but our deputies really didn't want to hear it. He was taken immediately to jail, and we were able to assist the Darby Borough, Delaware County District Attorney's Office. I can't understate how well the investigation went with the Darby Police Department. The information that they gave us, they essentially put the ball on the 2-yard line for us, and we were just able to punch it into the end zone. So a lot of credit is due to the police department here, the chief of police, all his investigators, of how well they set the table for us. So.
What did he say? What was his excuse? Why did he do this?
When he was arrested, he just simply said that, hey, can I tell my side of the story? Can I explain what happened? And we weren't interested in that. That's not our job. The Marshal Service job is just to go out, locate, and apprehend. And that's exactly what our investigators did. We're the best in the country at doing that. And, we're very happy to support our surrounding counties.
There was some indication that he was upset that the crossing guard had stopped traffic. Did he mention that when you guys, your marshals took him into custody? Is that the reason why?
No, he didn't mention that to us, but perhaps, the chief could talk about that aspect of the investigation, Chief.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
So there's been some speculation that the reason he did this, he was upset that the crossing guard stopped traffic. What did he say? What was the reasoning? What was his excuse or why he said he did this?
Well, we didn't speak to him.
I know.
All right, he's in South Carolina.
I don't know if you heard, because he was saying that he was trying to plead his case or something.
Well, he can plead his case all he wants. He's going to have his day in court, right? Everybody gets their day in court. And I'm sure that'll come out at some point.
What did he say about aggressive driving? How big of a problem is it?
Well, aggressive driving is a big problem, especially in small communities like this. In the city, we border the city, so we see a lot of traffic coming from the city, small town. We see heavy traffic here, a lot of accidents here. We see aggressive driving all the time. And as a police officer, even when you're off duty, you see it, and it's gotten worse over the years.
Can anybody just talk about how this has just gripped the community? Obviously, everybody in the community was.
We're gonna go through.
So we're going to.
Yeah, both of us are gonna say some stuff about.
Okay, sorry.
We're going to. The mayor's going to speak, and Senator Williams is going to speak. I just wanted to just bring up, just to remember, this happened on Monday, late afternoon on Monday, and he's in custody on Friday in another state. This is great police work. We got information, assistance from the community, which is good, very good. It helps us in our job. But this is fantastic police work, and starting with my own department. These officers put their time in. They didn't want to go home until this offender was located. So it does affect us, so don't ever believe that it doesn't affect us. I'm proud of my department. I'm thankful for the U.S. Marshals. The deputy reached out to me recently and got a message to me. Anything we needed, they would be there for us. So we appreciate that teamwork we have with the Marshals, with Philadelphia PD, and the District Attorney's Office.
Was that his vehicle? Was that vehicle registered to him? Is that how you were able to track him, who it was?
I don't know who the vehicle's registered to at this time.
How did you close in on him? Was it a tip, or how did you zero in on him so quickly?
Well, we chased video, and that's what our officers do. We had one of my officers took it upon himself to chase video, and he chased video all the way into the city. And then, at some point, you get to the point where we hit a wall sometimes. But this time we didn't hit a wall. We just kept pushing. We found video, and perseverance pays off, and teamwork.
Did you get a tip?
Anything happening with that reward? Money?
Well, I'll let the senator touch on the reward. So I'm going to turn it over to the mayor and the senator, because I know they have remarks.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We are here today because obviously of the incident that took place earlier this week in our community. A crossing guard, someone whose job is to protect our kids, to protect our school children, was attacked while doing her job right outside of a school. This happened in the middle of the day with kids nearby. It's completely unacceptable. It is unacceptable. There's no excuse for that. First I want to definitely take the opportunity to thank our phenomenal job, to thank our police department for the phenomenal job they've done. Our Darby Borough Police Department, led by Chief Joe Gabes. I mean, they were up many nights. As he just said, this incident happened on Friday. And I mean, it happened on Monday, and it's Friday, and we have him in custody already. So they've done a fantastic job. They were fast and professional working on this. And, I also want to definitely thank our Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Tanner Rouse, my good friend Philadelphia's Mayor Sherelle Parker, and her police department, led by Commissioner Kevin Bethel, for their help in this efforts as well. I also like to thank the U.S. Marshals for all the work that they did. Because of this work, this collaboration of law enforcement, state, local, and federal, because of this collaboration, this dangerous individual has been taken off our street very quickly, too. This is what real government looks like. This is what collaboration looks like. They all worked together. They protected our community, and they brought justice. Our police officers, along with my administration, we've been out in the neighborhoods. I mean, just yesterday, we were out knocking on doors, talking to the residents, and making it clear that we are here for them. Every parent in Darby, they should feel comfortable sending their kids to school. The residents themselves, they should feel safe in their neighborhoods. And I can assure you, you are safe in your neighborhood. This is my responsibility as your mayor, and we're going to deliver on that. I want to be very clear. As I've said before, just yesterday I said this in our council meeting as well. We will not tolerate crime in Darby Borough. If you commit a crime here in Darby, you will be caught and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Under my leadership, we will not tolerate any kind of violence in Darby, whether it's physical, it's mental, it's whatever it may be. If you commit a crime in Darby, you will be caught and you will be prosecuted. Simple. Simple as that. So as I've said before, whoever this individual was, we was going to get you. I told you that just yesterday. And 24 hours later, we've gotten you. And this is a message to any other individual that think they could come to Darby and disturb the peace that our residents enjoy. We will catch you and we will prosecute you. We're going to work every single day to continue to make sure that our residents feel safe, that they are secured, and justice is served. You know, Darby is a very strong community. It's a close-knit community. I mean, we all know each other in this community. And so that's why this incident, this is why it was so important that we got to the solution. This is why it was so important that we brought this young man to justice. Because if that happened to that particular crossing guard, who's to say it won't happen to me tomorrow? And because we've gotten him, I'm sure the other criminals out there that may think they could get away with something like this, I'm sure this message is going to reach them. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. It's not going to happen. There's a new mayor in town that is not going to stand for it. We will do every single thing we can to make sure our residents are protected. And so I'm going to say it one more time. If you commit a crime in Darby, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you. Mr. Senator, thank you so much for your help in this too as well, and for offering this reward. I'm sure, you know, you're going to cough up that $5,000 soon.
So, you know, we have a chant. It's called EAGLES, Eagles, right?
Right.
I'm not going to spend community today, but let me tell you something. We won. It goes not to just that individual, but to community folks who are worried, who've called my office every single day to find out what's going on, how we're approaching this process. So let me start with the most obvious. Yay to they did not treat this person, these people in this community as if they were second to President of the United States. They were a priority, and we made them a priority, and most importantly, folks who have a concern about law enforcement, who may on occasion say we don't want cops, be very clear. That is not our message. Our message is we want these type of cops, these type of law enforcement people in our community who are concerned about all of our safety. So one, we won today. We won. Second of all, I want to say this, and apparently I owe somebody money, $5,000. I want to thank, one, the press. You all did an extraordinary job, from all the newspapers to all the folks who, you know, cover television, of getting the word out, and apparently that did incentivize someone to come forward. As soon as the crime was solved, they showed up and they apparently wanted to make sure they get their $5,000. They will get their $5,000. But let me be very clear. Policing, and police will tell you this, these type of crimes do not get solved without community participation. They are the link to solving our own problems. So when people ask, how can we help? Then you can no longer hide behind the code of silence and say, you know, as part of the code, we don't rat on one another. I don't even know what that means. Very clearly, I don't understand the terminology. Ratting on somebody is getting a rodent that infects your community out of your house or your home. Telling on somebody needlessly is a different conversation. But ratting on somebody is not that. The person who did this served the benefit of not themselves individually, but the collective community. And I'm going to say this last part. For the bully that some of you all witnessed occur, a man 6 inches taller than a woman, probably 100 pounds bigger than a woman, who felt it would be normal in public day like this, strike a woman down. I want you to understand a message from those who don't live in these communities. It is not normal for us to beat up on women or to be bullies. That is not the majority of people in Darby. That is not the majority of men of color in Darby. That is not the majority of us who are men in our households. We want to protect our households, including women. But for those who are confused about that, be very clear. You are now on notice. You should not be striking someone who is less than you physically and that you socialize differently. It is not okay to hit another person, It is certainly not okay to hit somebody who's smaller in size than you. It is not okay to strike out your partner in domestic violence or in a neighborhood. And that is a message we should be sending today. One of the reasons I was emotionally connected to this was certainly it was a crime. It was in a community I represented. But when I saw this guy in broad daylight strike out a woman as if it clearly was not the first time he's done that, and send a message, it's okay, I was determined, along with my colleagues from council, the mayor's office, federal government, state government, local law enforcement, to catch this guy, to send a message. This is going to stop. Not just striking and crime, but the culture that accepts this level of violence needs to teach your children that it will not be accepted. And not only will it not be accepted, you will be prosecuted for it to the fullest extent of the law. We're working on a bill today that will allow crossing guards, who basically volunteer their time to protect our children, to now be treated as if they are first responders. Police officers and folks understand that crossing guard is the most intimate person you have. You know where they live, you know what they're about, you can find their information. They should also be protected. So we're going to do that from top to bottom. I want to thank everyone involved in their participation, and significantly to the unnamed person who called up and gave us the connecting tip. I want to thank you as well. God bless you.
Good question. We heard a lot about what's going on with the arrest. Obviously, that's big news. What about the victim? Do we have an update on how she's doing, how she's handling everything? Obviously, the physical scars will heal, but how's she doing mentally as well?
So the person involved, the victim, wants to be anonymous. I think some of you all know who she worked for. She's retired from that endeavor, unfortunately. And she wants to remain anonymous. But I will tell you that she did have physical consequence to the assault, which will come up in court. But hopefully they're not lingering. So, scarring and damage and that kind of thing, it's not part of the report I received. I did talk to someone who talked directly to her so I can understand, does she need further help? The trauma is obviously going to be permanent, but she's receiving the emotional counseling and support that she needs to deal with that. I do know that it's going to have to go beyond her family as well. And so we are intimately connected with her to support her in her activities, but she does not want to be anybody showing up at her house if you find out who she is, okay?
I was going to say, and lastly with that, just throwing a shot in the dark, but obviously they got the guy in South Carolina. It wasn't when everything happened. When I look at the video, I have to think that this person either had a mental breakdown or they were on drugs of some kind. You guys have been out in the community talking to people. Whenever this person was ID'd, was he known to be on drugs or to do something like that? Because that does not seem like something.
So I'm going to let them talk further to the extent that they know, but I do know that is not an excuse.
I'm not saying it's going to excuse.
No, but I'm telling you that is not an excuse, even if they try to use it in that person's defense. I don't know him personally nor intimately. I do know reputation. Reputation precedes itself. As I mentioned, this is not abnormal for him, okay? It's a part of the culture he grew up with, and that's a part of the culture we want to disrupt. That is not okay. I don't know if he's a drug user or had too much to drink on that particular day. I doubt it, to be very candid with you, because he was very coordinated running back to his car, okay? So whatever defense he has, that video speaks volumes to his capability to come out, coordinate himself, walk up to somebody, say a few words, strike them in the face, then run back to your car. That doesn't speak to I'm under the influence of much of anything, other than my emotions at that moment. But I don't know if these folks might have more.
We may never know what was going through his mind that day. So, but his actions, it doesn't matter what was going through his mind, right? What he did was a horrible thing in our community, and that victim, to put that victim through, who was out there crossing children, just doing her job, that she did every day. So we may never know. Maybe when we get the court proceedings, we may get some answers there. As far as the victim, Delaware County Victim Assistance Center has reached out to. They are helping her out too. So they're providing their services.
And the last thing for me is
All right, we have been listening there to Darby Borough officials giving us an update. Breaking news here at this hour. There has been an arrest in the brutal assault on a female school crossing guard in Darby Borough, Delaware County that happened on Monday. U.S. Marshal Service apprehended Rasheem Russell in Darlington, South Carolina. He is being held at the Florence County Jail awaiting extradition back here to Pennsylvania. What we know about him, he's 29 years old. He's from West Philadelphia. He's now facing aggravated assault and related crimes in reference to this assault. Now, the U.S. Marshal's Office worked with officials in South Carolina. They found the suspect this morning at 11 o'clock. They had information that he had fled the state, so they scoured cameras. They scoured other connections with family members and found him there in Darlington, South Carolina. That's 530 miles from Philadelphia. Now, this was a cowardly act of violence, according to the Marshal's Office, that needed to be handled immediately, and that is why this case wrapped up so quickly just within the last week or so. So he has been taken into custody, facing several charges, and he is awaiting extradition back here to Philadelphia and this area. So we're going to have much more on this coming up on CBS Philadelphia here on our streaming service and our broadcast service as well. Breaking right now at noon on CBS News Philadelphia.